The Commuter, as a fellow commuter, I resonated with so much of this piece, even though I've never been in this kind of extraordinary situation that this young woman finds herself in. But still, the little nuances, particularly in the first half, of the people watching and the daydreaming out the window, so much of these little things really resonate so deeply with me. So I really enjoyed that. I love the conclusion that the piece came to. It felt very natural and believable. And overall, really enjoyed the heightened tension that came as the plot was progressing further and further. Really well done.
The Commuter, I really enjoyed this. I loved the style of storytelling that they approached this with her kind of narrating things and it being a conversation between two people that obviously were not on film together at all. And so you don't necessarily, I mean, you can make assumptions and guesses about what their relationship is, but you don't really know because you don't see them. So you don't really see how they're interacting. But even her just going through it and kind of giving a recap of her day or her version of events, and it did ultimately, I think the thing that plagued me most was at the end of this, the first question I had was not even what she did with the wallet, because like she was saying in her narration, like, that wallet is yours now and you can choose whatever you kind of want to do with it. The thing that stuck with me at the very end, that left me kind of wondering, was, did she only steal this wallet because she missed her first train? Because she was left there seemingly bored, having nothing to kind of occupy her brain, and she just kind of let an intrusive thought in and let an intrusive thought win. Quickly followed by the next set of thoughts, which was, where did those skills come from? You can't just like steal somebody's wallet like that just because you're like, you have to have that kind of skill to pick a pocket like that. Those were the kind of things that stuck with me at the end there, which I thought were really interesting. But in general, I really liked this. It also brought up interesting questions of, is she telling a different version than what happened to the other person because she doesn't want them to know what she does in her spare time, of like being a pickpocket or being a thief, or maybe it's not in her spare time, maybe it takes up more of her time than that? Or is she lying to herself and there's just happens to be another witness there? Is she so uncomfortable with the fact that she does steal that she is rewriting her own history? She's rewriting the truth to make it more manageable for her because she doesn't like that she does this, and maybe it's a compulsion that she can't control. It left me with a lot of questions that I thought were really fun, and I think that it captured my attention, obviously, because it left me curious about the characters and their story. So I really, really enjoyed this. I thought this was really well done. Like I said, I really enjoyed the way the storytelling that they chose to go with. I thought it worked really, really well, especially for this particular story. So I absolutely enjoyed it.
COMMUTER, wow, this was a very interesting effort for many reasons. I think that the editing and the way it combines the dialogue, the conversation between the girl and the boy, it's terrific. It reminds me a little bit of Christopher Nolan in his first efforts, like Following, and a little bit of Jean-Luc Godard at the same time too, because the way these two characters talk, it has a rhythm to it, and it's very engaging. Um, it's particularly great because we hear this conversation while we see a lot of things, a lot of casual things that acquire a completely different meaning as we hear these two people talking, and then we see these two people singing, and this train station and the people there. And it's quite an interesting effort. I mean, it's very limited, maybe, but I think that the filmmakers did an excellent job with just what they had. It's a great film. and I like it very much. So thank you very much for sending it.
This was interesting and poses a lot of different questions. Like, was this all just a story in her head? Did this stranger actually stalk her? Did he actually pickpocket this guy? Did she pickpocket him? There's a lot of different twists to this, and you're not really sure what's going on based on the way it's shot. It could be any of these scenarios. She's clearly talking to somebody, a psychiatrist maybe, and trying to figure this out, saying maybe she should feel guilty, but because clearly the wallet was taken. But it's not really clear if it's a story or not. It's something that she did to pass the time. But she does possess it. So it's one of those things that you're not sure about. The intensity is there. And those who use trains to commute often have this where their heads go different places just because you're trying to feel the boredom. Which is where it kind of starts with. It's a great film for that reason alone, because like the stranger said, he could feel her heart beating, and the film really showed that through the sound, that you could hear it beating, where she kind of let it go away, and it was just a great moment of storytelling where you couldn't tell the difference between if this was a story she was making up or if it really happened, which makes it a great moment for a film to thrill the audiences.
This film was called The Commuter. This was an intriguing short film. The storyline was very subtle and clever. It was done in a distinct fashion in that the two voiceover artists told most of the story, very little text on screen. The lighting was a bit gloomy that added to the somber tone of the piece, recounting a strange, unsettling day. Lots of great city shots and strong performances. Well done film. The Commuter. Check it out.